Konnichiwa, Japan fans. Today's show, we are going to talk about success codes in sales. Eigo desu. それでは行きましょう. So let's get going. This is the 8th year of the Sales Japan Series podcast, broadcasting around the world from the Beverly Hills of Japan, Minato-ku here in downtown Tokyo. It is chic central. I'm your host, Dr. Greg Story, Dale Carnegie Tokyo franchise owner, the president of Dale Carnegie Tokyo Training, and the 3-time best-selling author of Japan Sales Mastery, which is Zaegyo in Japanese, Japan Business Mastery, and Japan Presentations Mastery, or in Japanese, Anata mo Presen no Tachijin. My other books include Stop Wasting Money on Training, which in Japanese is Tonin de Okane o Mori ni suru no wa yamemashou. And my just released new book is Japan Leadership Mastery, and all are available on Amazon. In this podcast, I want to help you to survive and even better, thrive in business. I want you to 1, sell more and do it more easily. 2, exceed your targets. In fact, let's blow up your targets. Number 3, make some serious money. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with your family, friends, and colleagues. We're not being sponsored by Libsyn, but we value your privacy, which is why we have our podcast hosted by Libsyn. Unlike many other hosting organizations, Libsyn have a strict policy that does not allow access to your private information by anyone. Here is our daily podcast lineup on Apple Podcasts. Mondays, the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show podcast. Tuesday, the Presentations Japan series. And every second Tuesday, the Business Tachijin no Oshie Show. Wednesdays, the Sales Japan series. Thursdays, the Leadership Japan series. And every second Thursday, the Business Pro Podcast Show. Fridays, the Japan Business Mastery Show podcast. Saturdays, Japan's top business interviews. Now, this is number 394, and today we are talking about the sales success code for post-COVID Japan. Now, this is a recording of a speech I gave previously to the American Chamber of Commerce here, and I'm going to add this into my podcast on sales. Thank you very much. Let me start by saying I love sales. Finding new clients, hunting, expanding the business, helping people improve their companies, their careers, their business, very satisfying for me. And I notice if I actually have a good day and I meet some new clients and it goes well, I feel really elevated. And if I'm sitting in my office doing a lot of presidential sort of administration stuff, not so happy. So selling is where I find a lot of joy. And today I'm going to talk about some of the transition of things that have happened from COVID through to where we are now, where we're going. And talk a little bit about Dale Carnegie first. I said I was in sales, so we're selling Dale Carnegie. So 112 years ago, we started in New York. We've been in Japan 61 years. We have 200 offices in 100 countries around the world. We teach in over 30 languages. So we're a very dynamic organization. And this is a map of the world with Dale Carnegie. And it's still got Russia up there, but I think that one's got to come down. I don't think that's happening anymore. But you see we're pretty global. And some famous graduates, particularly like Warren Buffett on the left here, and my other favorite over there, Chuck Norris on the right. Quite a good split there between different graduates. And these books are very famous: How to Win Friends and Influence People, Hirokazu, and How to Stop Worrying and Start Living, Michio Hirakeru, are also well known. So keep selling in the top 10 business books, every language, every year, every country. It's incredible. Still going. The knowledge is there. So the structure tonight sounds very basic. Know, like, and trust in sales. But I'm going to look at that through the lens of what's happened since COVID and what's happening with social media and where we're going with ourselves. So we'll start with the know part. There's an American sales trainer called Grant Cardone. If you've heard of him, he's a really hard-driving American sales guy. And he often makes the comment that we in sales are all invisible. This is our problem. We're invisible. People don't know we exist. And so how can they buy from us if they don't know we exist? So how do we go over this invisibility? So if you think about it, how do we become known in a world which is just packed with media, 1 minute reels now on all sorts of social media, concentration spans are getting shorter and shorter. How do you break out? How do you become visible for people? It's quite a big issue around sales. So I'm going to talk a lot about that tonight, on how to be known so that people find you rather than you having to run around trying to find people all the time. And so during COVID, networking just disappeared. There was no networking. ACCJ would run events, they would be online, you're in this tiny little box on the screen, you can't talk to anybody else, maybe the speaker or the panel perhaps, you can interact with them, but very frustrating, very, very frustrating to try and get hold of people. Fortunately, that's gone. And I'm looking at David over there, he's been at more this week than I've been. I think that we were in common, but at least 3 of them, networking events this week. So being able to get out and meet you tonight, exchange business cards, find out what you're doing, that I think is a really essential part of sales, which we were denied for 3 years. So now we have the opportunity, and I think for all of us, we should be saying how many activities, how many events can I physically get to, and make that a priority. Because the clients don't know us. And then I'll give an example. I had a business meeting today. Big company. I met the gentleman at a networking event. I followed up. He said, okay, let's meet. Okay, brought his talent head. He was there, another person's there, understanding what they need. I realized straight away I had 3 solutions for them which matched perfectly with what they needed. Now, they realized that too. Oh, this is great. You know, we haven't talked about money yet. We didn't even raise the subject of money today. We just talked about match of solution for need, right, at that stage. We'll get to the money part in a moment. But that would never have happened if I hadn't gone to that event, I hadn't connected with him. And this is going on constantly. So I really want to encourage everybody, get out there and network, go to as many events as you can. Now, not everybody is going to be a potential client, right? And probably within 10, 15 seconds, you should be able to tell if this person is a potential client. I can tell in 10 to 15 seconds if they're a potential client. If they're not, I have a charming conversation, and then I move on. And I find someone who might be a client, because my time is limited, networking event time is limited. I've got to try and meet as many people. We call it working the room in sales, right? Work the room, find out where the buyers are. So I encourage everyone to take the opportunity that COVID allows us, after it ended, to come back and do networking, because that's where the clients are. And we become visible to those clients where we weren't before. So it's such a big relief to be able to do that again. The other thing is, is cold calling during COVID was a nightmare. I realized during COVID, I didn't capture people's mobile phone numbers, or their cards don't have their mobile phone numbers, and they're all at home. How can I get to them if I can't, contact them? You send an email, nothing happens. You really want to try and ring people, talk to them if you can. So you get the general number. And this is the same before COVID, same during COVID, and the same after COVID. You ring the general number. Although I must say, during COVID, sometimes you ring the general number and nobody picked up. Like the system really broke down there for a while. Companies had nobody there picking up the phone. It was like it rang out. Incredible. Anyway, but someone does pick up. It's usually some rather junior person who's been threatened. If they put any salespeople through their boss, they're going to be kicked out of the company and beaten on the way out the door. So they are not helpful. They're savage beasts to get rid of salespeople like us, right? So it's tough. And they're hard to break through. And after COVID, nothing's changed. Those savage beasts are still there picking up the phone, getting rid of salespeople. So what I suggest for everyone was during COVID, I suggested now is that same individual, that same person, if you send a mail piece, a physical mail piece, to the company with that person's address on it that you're trying to get to, that person who will not let you get to speak with the person you want to contact, the buyer, will diligently take that package to their desk, will not open it, and will place it on their desk for you. So you can get straight to the buyer through a snail mail and get around the cold call problem of trying to be able to physically speak with people. So cold calling didn't get any easier during COVID, but it's still no easier now. It's hard. There's a place for it. I think we've got to be snipers with cold calling. We identify companies we think are a good match for our services, and we try and identify individuals we think are going to be the key decision makers, and we should try and target them. We should try and get through, and if we can't get through by phone or email, send them something that's going to intrigue their interest, arouse an eager desire to buy from you from the piece that you sent to them. So what about social media? Where are your buyers? What are your buyers looking at? Which particular platform are they on? Are you on that same platform? Can you find out what they're doing in their social media because you're sharing the same information? They're there. So how do we become visible to our clients through social media? Okay. So this is very interesting. I went to Bing, put in a search on top 10 platforms in Japan for social media. Got a bunch of numbers. I checked it against ChatGPT, different set of numbers. I tried 3 or 4 different organizations, and the number variation in some cases was massive. Directionally, the order was pretty similar, but the actual numbers they were quoting were really astonishingly at variance. And YouTube is a monster in Japan. So are you on YouTube? I know most of you are not on YouTube. I had a look at your YouTube sites. Okay. How about Line? Line's big. Advertising online could be something. I'm online, you online. Twitter, now called X, again, big in Japan. Instagram, again, big. Facebook, not so big. TikTok, not so big in Japan. Not so big in Japan. Pinterest, not big. And LinkedIn, not very big. But for me, a lot of my clients are my target are expat CEOs who have decision-making power, but their staff are all Japanese. Right? And my Japanese staff, they target the Japanese level, but as a foreigner, I can go in at that level and try and get to the CEO to have a conversation about how we can help them. So LinkedIn, for me personally, is not a bad platform because a lot of foreigners are on LinkedIn, and a lot of people in this room are on LinkedIn, but some of you are not. Right? Some of you you're Japanese, you're not on LinkedIn much, because it's thought to be a wrong sort of site for you. So my point is, which platform are your clients on? And if they are on that platform, do they see you there? I'm not sure TikTok is a platform for my demographic, but I'm thinking about trying it. LinkedIn certainly is. Twitter, X certainly is. Facebook, yes. Certainly. YouTube, certainly. So which one's for you? Where's the attention sit? Now, one of the problems with when you put content up, and one thing I noticed, I don't think there's anybody I saw in this room who's put up content recently, let's say last 6 months, which was your original content. I saw a lot of people reposting other people's original content. I saw a lot of that. I went and had a look at your social media before this meeting. I saw you hopping on the bandwagon of other people's original content, but your own original content is not there. Okay? Just about everybody. So I think there's an opportunity for you. Now, you might think, well, look, I don't know what to write, or I can't write, or whatever. ChatGPT or one of these AI models will help me, which it will. If I ask AI, do a draft of this talk tonight, how it would look, it'll come up with something quite solid, a little bit generic at this point, to be honest. And so the barriers to entry are now very, very low using AI for content creation. What it means, though, is you've got to differentiate so you can compete with people who are putting up stuff through AI. So your content is a bit more personalized. Your content is a bit cleverer. Your content is a bit more on target for that buyer, differentiated. As anyone just pumps into AI, give me an article on this, they're all going to be competing with each other, and it won't have that personal element that you can bring to it, which will make your content stand out. So we're going to be awash with lots of creative content, which is going to be rather similar. And so we don't have to give up in the face of that. We can still go ahead, but we can differentiate ourselves through personalization of what we're talking about, our experiences, our insights, our observations. So video and audio, very powerful. Podcasting, video for YouTube. Now, some of our self-limiting beliefs are around, I don't look good on video. I'm not handsome enough or beautiful enough, right? Or I don't sound, deep DJ style voice, for audio, so I can't do it. Or I can't write, so I can't do it. Well, the writing part, the AI takes care of that. But these are self-limiting beliefs. Think about it. Were the Beatles super handsome? Did they have great voices? No. Bob Dylan? Great voice? Not handsome? No. Sting? His voice, quite high. Handsome? No. But they've been amazingly successful in music industry. Didn't hold them back. So don't be limited by thinking you cannot appear in video. And these days, your mobile phone has got a high quality camera in there that can record very easily. Barriers to entry for video are very low. Right? Now I'm using separate audio tonight so that I can get a better quality of audio when I do the podcast version of this, rather than just coming off the camera. But if you hold the iPhone up close enough, you don't have to worry about the voice quality. It'll be good enough. The mic will pick it up well enough. So there's an opportunity for all of you to create content based on your insights, your experience, your observations about your industry and what's going on there. And I encourage you to do that. So if people want to search and find you, they meet you, they want to check you out, who are you? Well, where are they going to find you? Are you on, we do a search on you on Google, what are we going to find? Or Yahoo, or Bing, ChatGPT. YouTube is a major search engine. Amazon is a major search engine, right, as well. Very powerful. So what will we find? So this is what I did a search on myself. So Google, I had 24 entries, and my Google number of entries has actually come down. It used to be many more, but it's actually come down. I don't know why, but it's actually getting less. 24, Yahoo, 36, Bing, 91. I stopped at page 10, but 91. So if someone's using AI from Bing to find out about me, they're going to find a lot of information. ChatGPT, never heard of me. Said, up till January 2022, don't know anything about this guy. He must have done something after January 2022. Not true, not true. YouTube, I stopped at what did I say? Stopped at 50, is it 50? I said there, yeah, 50 pages, and or 50 entries, I should say. I stopped at 50 entries, but just kept on going because I had too many videos. And then Amazon, only 12 entries on Amazon. So that was me. I only show this to ask, if we do you, how visible are you on these search engines? Because people will check you out. Who is this person? What can I find out about them? What have they done? Now, I think for Americans, because you adopted Facebook quite early, you have sort of ruined it for yourselves because you've got a lot of personal stuff on Facebook of you in compromising positions, with a drink with a very dodgy umbrella in it in a pool somewhere, and so for a lot of Americans, they don't use Facebook for business because they've personalized it. Now, I came to Facebook late. So if you look on my Facebook, you'll hardly see anything about me personally. It's all business. Twitter, same thing, all business. YouTube, same thing, all business. My family don't appear. My private life doesn't appear, hardly at all. So that's an advantage for me. So I'm going to use myself as a little bit of a case study here. Not that I want to say, oh, Greg's story is so fantastic and, you know, let me tell you how great I am. I'm just taking myself and I'm showing you what I've done to stimulate your thinking about what's possible for you in terms of getting known by clients. So this is my LinkedIn page, and you'll notice I'm Dr. Greg Story, brackets, franchise owner, master trainer, best-selling author, leadership, sales, presentations, Tokyo. That encapsulates everything I do. Right there. When people look at me, they know what I do, right? Straight away. And then this one, last 7 days, my LinkedIn posts had 11,117 impressions on LinkedIn. 516 people viewed my profile in the last 90 days. Okay? 27,246 people are following me. Okay? And 946 people searched me last week to find me, more about me. If we do this for you, and you look at your analytics, what would the numbers show? Would people be finding you? Would you be coming up on searches? So this is our top performing content. This is our Japanese podcast. It's only a podcast. Business no Tachijin, no Oshie. This podcast has 71,700 downloads so far. Okay, it's been going about, I think we're up to episode 69, so a bit over a year. We're in Japan, you know, there's 125 million Japanese, so obviously there's a big market here for Japanese language, and it does the best. By far it does the best. And then you see here, last 30 days, 2,556 people were accessing that podcast. So it's very, very high performing. This is the next high performing Leadership Japan series. This is one in English. 70,617 people have downloaded this one. And we look here. Last 30 days, 542 people download that podcast and listen to it. So English, obviously a smaller market than Japanese, and but still substantial connections. Some of the people in this room have been on my podcast for Japan's Top Business Interviews. And so this one also performs very well, 22,000. This has been going for, we're up to episode 181, lands on Saturday. So you can work it out, basically a little bit over 3 years. So that's accumulation of 3 years for that one. And then again, last 30 days, 719 people listened to that podcast, or one of the podcasts. Sales Japan series, we've got 29,000 people listened to that. So far, we're about 380 odd episodes, so how many years is that? Presentation Japan series, about 20,000. Same, it's been going for the last, about the same, 380 something episodes. This is Japanese, Business Pro Terebi. It's both TV and audio. We strip the audio out from the video, and we do it as a podcast. Not getting a lot of traction as a podcast, only about 8,000. It's been going for, we've done 90 episodes, so it's fortnightly. So it's been going for a little while, not tremendously popular. Cutting Edge, this has only got 8,000 odd downloads. This has been going for since about 2018, not so many. And Japan Business Mastery Show, been going the same period of time. It's got a bit less, 7,000. So YouTube channel, we have 2,353 videos up on YouTube, which is quite a substantial number. And we've got 1,830 people subscribing to that, which isn't a huge number, but it's not bad. You know, it's not bad. We'd like it to be a lot more, of course. But this is our Tokyo Japan Daikani TV channel. We call it TV. We don't just call it, you know, YouTube. We call it TV. Now, interestingly enough, in the last 28 days, we've had 46,000 people watching one of our videos. All right, so not bad. And then on our website, we have thought leadership. You can go there, get white papers, ebooks. We have our TV shows there, white papers accessible from there, podcast books, all on the website showing people what we've got to get them to go and look at it. And then podcast, we do all of these shows every week. Some are fortnightly, every week mainly. And then it just scrolls down for all of them there. And then TV shows, we have 3 of those, same thing. Then I get into books. This is the first book I wrote, Japan Sales Mastery. And I did this not to sell books. I did this to sell sales training, because there's a high credibility and people will know about me. And when I go to clients, we hand it out to clients. We give it out. We don't try and sell it to people. Selling, if I want to be Stephen King, I can sell books. But if I want to be Greg Story, I better hand them out and get people to buy my sales training. And then so this again is being known, being found. And we did the Japanese translation, Zaegyo, I called it. And you see the yen sign in there. The designer came up with it, very clever. And a friend of mine, I was having lunch with a Japanese friend of mine. I said, look, I've got this book on sales and Japanese. What's a Japanese title? We call it Japan Sales Mastery. I don't know what to call it. He said, we'll just call it, Zaegyo. And then my son said, Dad, drop the za and make it the, because you're a foreigner who's writing in Japanese, so that's more interesting. Call it the Egyo, which is how the title came up. And then this is my second book. When I was doing the first one, I realized there hadn't been any books on doing business in Japan been published for about 35 years. Japan was booming in the 90s, lots of people writing books, and then China became the star, and interest just dropped away. You can find on YouTube lots of stuff about how to hand over the meishi and where to sit in the room. But beyond that, it's not much help. So I thought, well, I'll write a book, simple book, on how to do business in Japan that's modern. It's current. So I wrote this book. And then this one is my next book on presentations, right? Japan Presentations Mastery on presentation skills, very, very critical. And then we've just released the Japanese title, Anatamo, Prezen no Tatsujin. That's just available now on Amazon as well. These are all on Amazon. So again, being found, being known. And I wrote this book, Stop Wasting Money on Training. Right? Stop Wasting Money on Training as a guide to how to choose a training company, because I realized no one's written a book on that. So we are experts as training companies, so I can write a book on that. Again, we're not expecting to sell many of these books, but like today, I gave out my Japan Sales Mastery, and I gave a copy of this to the target client, right? And Japanese title is Training de Okane o Muni Suru wa Yamimashou, right? Same idea. But the punchline, right? The punchline is here. How to get the best results from your training budget in Japan. Again, I'm an expert on training, so come to me. That's what I'm trying to explain to people. Get to know me about that. And then I use this when I post my LinkedIn every day, Twitter, Facebook every day. This comes up as part of the text. And it shows I've written these books. Again, it's all about know me and know credibility that I have. So these are things that you can do. You can do these things too. I mean, ChatGPT can help you in terms of writing, but you need to polish it. You need to add your special sauce to it to become known. Now, being liked is another key aspect. Know, like, and trust. So, okay, they know you. Great. Do they like you? We'll do business with people we don't like, but we don't prefer it. We'd rather work with people we like. So what makes us likable? Why would people want to do business with us? What makes us likable? So, first of all, how much do we know about the client and their industry? You turn up to a meeting, you've got to know. The great thing about AI is you can learn a lot about industries and people very quickly. Whereas before, it's very hard to find that information. Today, it's incredible. And they expect you to have done your research. So you come in and you start asking very basic questions. They think, well, why are you wasting my time on this stuff? You should already know that. You should have researched us already. So you try and become likable. Now, people have different personalities, and you don't have the time to run a deep psychological diagnostic tool across people to work out what they are. But if you can make 2 decisions, you get pretty close. Decision number 1, is this person rather assertive or not so assertive? Decision 1. That's on a horizontal plane. Assertive, not so assertive. On a vertical, are they rather people-oriented or are they rather outcome-oriented? When you hear them talk, they talk about people, they talk about KPIs, talk about ROI, talk about the revenue. What are they talking about? What's the conversation like? Where are they focused? So when you know that, you can start to place people. So I remember it's a European company, very famous company. New president arrived. I was meeting the president for the first time. He comes in the room. I was already there before him, came in the meeting room. I got 5 seconds into a little bit of small talk, you know, as we do in Japan. He said, okay, let's get down to business. Straight away, I know immediately which personality style he is. Immediately, no hesitation, I know. So therefore, I know how to approach him. I know how to adjust my way of communicating to the one that he likes. Now, you don't have to become schizophrenic. I'm the same person. I don't change. But my communication style changes completely. And I'll show you this chart here. So this is where we place people. If you are assertive and very, very interested in outcomes, revenues, KPIs, you're a driver type. Now I know this type extremely well because that's me. And if I meet a fellow driver, it's very easy. I know what they like, I know how to talk to them. They have time is money, don't waste my time, get to the point, get out of my office. I know how to treat them. The opposite though is the amiable. Let's have a cup of tea. Let's get to know each other. I can't come in with a big strong sales guy presence with that type of person. I have to drop my voice down, drop my energy down. With the driver, if I'm soft and quietly spoken and low energy, I've got to drive it right up. I've got to bring that right up to match where they are. If they're extremely detail-oriented, proof, evidence, data, numbers to 3 decimal places, analyticals, right? You better come in with the numbers. You better come in talking about proof, testimonials, evidence that they will believe. Because if you don't have that, they will just discount you. The opposite of that is the big picture person who don't get me in the weeds of the detail. I want to meet with, particularly salespeople. I don't want to do the CRM. I want to talk to people. That's what I'm good at. They don't like the admin, right? If you're that person, then you've got to be energetic. Lots of, be fun. Yeah, let's go to the pub. Let's, have a party. That's what they're like. They're big picture people. Once you know that, you adjust your communication style to be more like them. They feel comfortable with you. If you think about your friends, often they're like you. They're people like you for a reason. That's why they're your friends. So I always think, if I can, doesn't always happen, but my fundamental idea is I try to make every one of my clients my friend. That's my fundamental objective, trying to make them my friend. Can't do it every time, but I want to try and make them my friend. I want to have a lifetime professional relationship with them in a very friendly manner. Right? Doesn't always work, but that's what I'm thinking. So this helps me to understand, okay, where do I need to change my communication pattern to really resonate with this person best so they feel most comfortable talking to me? Because if I'm rather amiable type and the person's talking really close to me and loud and aggressively, I'm not comfortable. But if I'm a driver and they've got this little quiet voice and hardly any energy, and it's like, get out of my office, you're just wasting my time here. Doesn't grab them. So we've got to work out where they are. And we can do that very quickly. So here's some Dale Carnegie principles that helps us. So for all styles, don't criticize, or complain or condemn your opposition. Don't even talk about your opposition like that. It doesn't work with any of these styles. Give sincere, honest appreciation. Amiables, like that. Expressives, like that. Analyticals, they don't believe it unless there's proof. Drivers don't care. Arousing the person an eager want. Drivers, if you've got something they want, can help them, they want it now. Okay, I'll listen to you. Now maybe analyticals will listen to you if you've got something around the numbers that resonates with them, they want to know more, that sounds good. Expressives, if you are a fun person to be with, and we're going to really blow up this business, we're going to really drive the sales up, we're going to get all these new clients, that's exciting to them. That's what they want. And if you can help them deliver that, they want to know. And also, number 4, become genuinely interested in people. Amiables are like that. Expressives are like that. Analyticals don't care. Drivers don't care. Right? Smile, works with everybody, works with everybody. Drivers, analyticals, not as much as amiables and expressives, but still, always nice to smile. And then we look at person's name. Drivers tend to have big egos. They like the sound of their own name. Expressives are very people-oriented. They like the sound of their own name. Amiables like the sound of their own name. Analyticals don't care. Not interested. Show me the 3 decimal places. Okay? Be a good listener. Encourage others to talk about themselves. Amiables, if you warm them up, they will talk about themselves, but they're a bit reserved. Analyticals, not interested in talking to you about themselves. Drivers, they love to talk about themselves. Expressives love to talk about themselves because they're important people. Okay? And then talk in terms of the other person's interests. Well, all of them. That applies to all of them. They have got interest. Talk in those terms, and they'll be very happy with talking to you. And then make the other person feel important. Do it sincerely. Drivers don't care. Analyticals don't care. But expressives and amiables care. So we can take these principles and adopt these for the different personality styles and be very effective in having people like us. Trust is the next one. So I'm going to use a Japanese word called kokoro gamai. In the introduction, Eric mentioned that I'm a Rokudan, a 6th Dan in Shitoru Karate. So this kokoro gamai, it's a concept of, I call it in English, true intention. Kokoro in Japanese means the spirit, the heart, but it's a little bit more nuanced than that. It's about what is your intention? What are you trying to do? And gamai is a phonetic change from kamai. In karate, we might have our fighting kamai, our position, our stance on something. So what this talks about in sales is when you're dealing with clients, what's your true intention? What are you trying to do? For example, if you know Zig Ziglar, passed away a few years ago, very famous American sales coach. This is a really profound saying. Really profound saying. You can get everything you want in this life if you just help enough other people get what they want. That is very profound. And in sales, this is how we've got to be thinking. You know, this is how you build a trust because you're trying to help them get what they want, not what you want. It's the same idea as this. You know, if inside the buyer's benefit and advantage, right, and interest are your interests, it's a win-win. And that's what we want, a win-win. We don't want a win-lose or lose-win. We want a win-win. So trust comes from what's your true intention. If your sales manager has got his jackboot on your neck, on your throat, about numbers this month and telling you to sell the highest margin products, you're in the wrong company. You should get the hell out of there right now because that's not the environment you want to be in. You want to be in a company that says, we're here to build up long-term relationship with partners and interests of the client are the premier interest for us and we're going to serve that and in their interest and success will be our success. So that's the true intention is helping the client succeed and therefore you will succeed, as Zig Ziglar made the point. But is that your intention? Is that your starting point? Is that the spark in you every day when you get up? Or is it, if I sell this, I'm going to make a lot of money. I get a big bonus, I get a big commission. We're not looking for transactional business. We're looking for lifetime partners. If you are in a transactional business, I feel sorry for you. I hope there's a lot of money attached to it because it's very unrewarding. Very unrewarding. I met an American sales guy. He's working here now. He said that when he was younger, he was selling meat products in the States. He could never go back to the same town twice because the quality was bad. And he would sell people this meat product and keep moving. Transactional. No, not what we want. I think we should be going for a lifetime trusted partner. Makes everything easier. So what's our true intention? Now, brands we know are popular because it's a trust. You buy a particular bag or a car or whatever it might be, based on the brand, you know what you're getting. We love brands. Brands give us reassurance that the purchase is going to be safe and sound and it's the right thing we should do. We are brands. Everyone in this room, you are a personal brand. And if your brand is strong and true intention is right, people will trust you. Right? So think about what is your personal brand and how do you demonstrate that? You've got all of this social media to use to demonstrate your personal brand. push out your image, whatever it is that you're saying on those videos. What's the content of what you're saying? So, know, like, and trust is a very old idea in sales, but it's very fundamental. Today with social media, we need to be known. I'd like to encourage all of you to start posting stuff on social media of your creation based on your insights and observations and experiences in your business. I'd encourage you to use video. Look at those numbers on YouTube. Now, David's on YouTube, has an excellent video. Looked great. That's right, we worked on that together. But there's, tons of videos of me. It's not because I need to put videos up there to stroke my ego. My ego is already big enough already. But I do that to project confirmation to the potential buyer. You can trust me. I know I'm an expert in this area. I'm reliable. I'm friendly. And we do it that way. So I encourage you. Video is good. If you can start a podcast. Now, I got suckered by a very large search engine company, whose name I won't mention, who in 2018 said, we are going to search, in addition to text, by audio. And I thought, bingo, there are lots and lots of people doing text. Very, very red ocean to swim in that one. But audio, that's a blue ocean. Not so many people are doing audio. So I went from doing 3 podcasts a week to doing 6 a week, thinking with this big search engine is going to be accessing my audio and pushing me up. Didn't happen. I'm still waiting. Where is my audio that's supposed to be getting me, top of the search engine here? Hasn't happened yet. But things are changing all the time with new things coming up. And we have the capacity now to access those things. So I encourage you to do that. The like part, think about who you're talking to, adjust your communication style to something they're comfortable with, and think about using those Dale Carnegie principles with them when you're with them so that they feel very comfortable with you, they like you. And then finally, trust. What's your kokorogomai? What's your true intention? What are you trying to do with that client? Is it for them you're making the sale, or is it for you you're making the sale? If it's for them, you will be successful, have a long career in sales and be very, very well rewarded. If it's for you, it'll be short term and you'll have a happy sales life. So don't go for that. Know, like, and trust, a very simple idea. I hope that you can all get a chance to start appearing in social media with your content, building up your personal brand. So thank you very much, and I'll open up for any questions you may have. Find out more. We come back from the break. Our show today is brought to you by our public courses, and we also have custom in-house programs as well as both in Japanese and English. We do classes in our super safe classroom, and we do them live online. Our show today is being brought to you by, on the 24th of August, we're doing our Dale Carnegie course, 12-week version. On the 12th and 13th of September, doing our High Impact Presentations program, and also on the 13th of September, we'll start another 12-week-long Dale Carnegie course. Our website is www.dale-carnegie.co.jp. Email me at greg.story@dalecarnegie.com. If you like learning by watching videos, then we have over 2,300 there for you at Tokyo, Japan, Dale Carnegie TV on YouTube. We release 3 shows every week on YouTube. The Cutting Edge Japan Business Show, that's the premier business show in Japan, every Monday, Tokyo time. Fridays, we have the Japan Business Mastery Show, and on Saturdays, we release Japan's top business interviews, where I interview leaders from SMEs right up to the corporate captains of industry on one topic, leading in Japan. Now, every second Thursday, we release the Business Pro Television Show. Don't forget to grab my business best-selling books on Japan on Amazon. Japan Sales Mastery, which is Saegyo in Japanese. Japan Business Mastery. And Japan Presentations Mastery, or in Japanese, Anata mo Present no Tachijin. My other books include Stop Wasting Money on Training, which in Japanese is Training de Okane o Muda ni suru no wa yamemashou. And my just released new book is Japan Leadership Mastery. And all are available on Amazon. Thank you for the question, David. The question is, when you put your head above the parapet, you're exposing yourself as a target to people who can criticise you, try and embarrass you, humiliate you. So for me, I worry about visibility. I worry about credibility with potential buyers before they get to meet me or after they've met me. I'm worried about making sales more than I'm worried about some idiot criticising me. Gary Vaynerchuk, who I also follow, has a very good line on this. He says, think about it. If somebody is going to take their time to make a negative comment about you, you should feel sorry for that person because they're obviously very unhappy and they've got a very terrible life. So don't worry about getting angry or abusive back to them. Feel sorry for them. They're sad. They're sad. I think that's quite true. For me, I don't even read it, David. You know, I just ignore it because they're not my target audience. Yeah. And you know, if they write something about me, let the people judge the video or the audio or the text and make their own mind up about what they think about it. And I think the type of people I'm trying to sell to will recognise, well, this guy knows he's an expert, he knows what he's talking about, he's got skills, he's got experience, he's got ability to communicate. This sounds like my type of guy, and this could be someone we could do business with. I think that message is more important. Now, okay, I'm all in with content marketing. None of that is paid. It's all organic. I don't pay to post that stuff. It's free. Not bad. Free. So I like free for social media. So for me, it's a very simple, easy way to get the message out. Low cost. I mean, you know, there's a cost in editing. There's a cost of time, of course, as well. But it's free. So why not use it? Maybe it depends what you're trying to achieve. If you want to have credibility with your potential buyers, it's a great way. Because you can send them the video, you can send them the audio, you can send them the text and say, hey, I wrote this article, I thought you might like it. Terrific. So I wouldn't worry about the haters, you know, and people who know you, David, will ignore those haters. People who don't know you will judge your content based on what you say and how it resonates with them. And people look at the haters and they think they're just idiots. They think, oh, that's a rude person, they're saying stupid comments. Oh yeah, I mean, I get all that stuff. Never worry about it. Eric, you had a question? So the question is, how do I produce so much content? Where do I find the time? And what's been the impact on the business? Saturdays, I write 3 blogs. Every Saturday. Original. However, when you've done 541 blogs on leadership, 386 on sales, and 386 on presentation skills, it gets quite difficult to come up with something original. It gets harder and harder, but I keep going with it. That blog, that gets turned into audio for my podcast. Later, it will get turned into video and audio for website, for YouTube, for Apple Podcasts. So I'm multi-purposing a lot of my stuff. What I am not doing, it's just a matter of money and time, is I'm not chopping everything up into smaller pieces and feeding that out. I used to do all the editing myself for everything, audio, video, the whole works. Now I have an editor who helps me. And ideally I should be chopping stuff up and putting out the pieces even more. But the mornings, I get up pretty early. I go to my computer, I go onto LinkedIn. I've already got on Sundays, I load it all up for the week. So it's already loaded. I go into LinkedIn, the draft is there. I connect the video and audio to our website so you can see it there. I send it out. It then gets automatically moved over to Twitter and Facebook. Purists would say I should post directly to Twitter and I should post directly to Facebook and not do that switch. But I have limited time and getting out that much content. And lately I've been adding direct to Facebook and direct to LinkedIn for video. I find that my stuff is too long for Twitter and too heavy. And lately I've also started putting stuff on Instagram. And I will get to TikTok as well. I've decided I'm going to have another go at that. Gary Vaynerchuk is challenging everyone to get out more content. And I'm thinking, well, can I do more? Can I do more? And it's stuff that already exists. I just go on the computer, a massive list of videos. Okay, that one, go there, click, 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 it's done. So it's not too bad. During the working day, I don't touch it, except in the morning or at night after work. But during the day, I don't have time. I just don't have time. So I might go through, if I got on a taxi, I might look at LinkedIn to see what other people are posting, but I don't have the time to post stuff. So that's part of it. And the return, surprising amount of people reach out to me. Now, I don't know why they don't go to my email. It's on the site there, but maybe it's hard to find the way they structure it. They come on Messenger. They come on Messenger, and they come through Messenger, and they come through LinkedIn to hit me up. Oh, we want training. We're looking for this. We're looking for that. So I do get found. And it does lead to business. The other side of it is, I meet you. You think, okay, that sounds interesting, but who is this guy? They go and check me out, and they go through, and I said, I have very little private stuff on any of these channels. If you go to my LinkedIn channel, you look at it, it's just constant. You scroll down, like it just keeps going. There's something like, I think LinkedIn's something like 3,000 articles are on there, 3,000, and they're all originals, right? And the same with the others. So they look at that and they go, and they look at what I'm writing. Oh, he's doing stuff on leadership. Oh, this one's on sales. Oh, this one's on presentation skills. If you remember my LinkedIn page, that's what it says. Leadership, sales, presentations. It's congruent and it's consistent with what I'm saying I am interested in doing and what I know about. You know, I don't write much on strategy, right? I don't write anything tech. You know, David, you'd be much more expert in that area than me. I would not know what to say. So I stick to the knitting of what I know and I write about those things. So I published my last article for Forbes and the Forbes Coaching Council. And that article was written based on a couple of speeches I saw at our conference in Vietnam last month. Right? I went to Vietnam for the Dale Carnegie Convention for APAC. They had two speakers. One was a Vietnamese speaker from a big insurance company. One was actually from Taiwan, Chinese guy speaking, both speaking English. And I wrote the article was authentic bumbling versus perfection. The first speaker had a bit of an accent, Vietnamese accent, sometimes a bit hard to catch the word, but you know, it wasn't perfect. You know, a little bit of rambling, a little bit of, you know, it wasn't quite the navigation, but he had pretty good navigation, it wasn't bad. The second speaker, perfect, absolutely perfect. But he read it. When he walked up on that podium carrying his iPad, I went, uh-oh, that's a red flag right there. And it was perfect, and it was boring. No life. The first guy had pizzazz, he had life. It wasn't perfect, but it was great. You could identify with what he was saying. He got his message. He appealed to you. So what I'm saying is, better to be an authentic bumbler than Mr. or Mrs. Perfection over here that's boring. So that, I saw that, and that became the feed for me to write something original based on it. And I'm looking for that all the time. In leadership, what I hear, I go to events, I hear something, oh, I'll write an article on that, or I see something, or I do something, and I made a mistake in leadership, or I've struggled with things. I write about the things I know, right? And so that's the presentations comes that way. The sales, in sales, I write about things that happens in sales with me, things that don't go well, things that go well. So I'm feeding off this constant real world for me, and then turn into articles, and then turn into video, and turn into audio. So I have multiple disbursement and multiple landing platforms on YouTube, you know, on podcasts, on our website, on these platforms as well. Push it out as far as I can. So that's what I'm doing. And it does help me for credibility. Now, I made a big mistake, and you should have helped me out here, Eric. You're an expert in this area, and you didn't tell me. But originally I was writing articles for the American Chamber Journal, when they had a journal that came out in physical format. Remember those good old days? And being an idiot, when I first started doing it, yes, I put my name, but I never put a photograph. Because I, being a complete naive fool, thought, well, you know, Dale Carnegie is the legend. Dale Carnegie is the icon. I shouldn't compete with the icon, the legend. So I shouldn't be putting myself out there. Until I was at a networking event, and I'm handing out my card. Are you the guy that writes those articles in the American Chamber Journal? Yeah, I am. Oh yeah, I love those articles. Penny dropped. I wasn't connecting this part of my personal brand with my intellectual property that I was pumping out. I thought, you idiot. So you'll notice this particular photograph, which is actually slightly blurry for some reason. They didn't quite get it. It's the same photograph. It's on everything. You notice it on the podcasts. You know, it's on everything. I put it on everything now because I didn't realize that this is part of my personal brand apart from my name. And I trade as Doctor. I have a PhD. I am Dr. Greg Story. I don't say Greg Story. I say I am Dr. Greg Story. I'm in the training business. And if someone's, you know, Mary Smith, trainer, and Dr. Greg Story, trainer, it's branding. It's credibility. It's like, oh, this guy's very well educated, he's got a PhD, he's in the education business. That makes sense, right? So I differentiate myself from my competitors by always using that name. It's not because I do have a big ego, but I don't need that to, fire up my ego, but I do it for branding and differentiation, and I push that out. And I even, with my staff, I told them, I said, look, it's not for me, but it's for our clients. When we're out and we're in the office, all of you will call me Dr. Story. You will never call me Greg, because I don't want to be at a networking event and one of them says, meet Greg. They never say that. It's always, well, please meet my boss, Dr. Story. I do that because it leaks out. If I have Greg in the office and expect them to remember to do doctor outside the office, it's too much. So I make them do doctor all the time, so it becomes a habit. And that happens, yeah, meet my boss, Dr. Story. It's again branding. It's those little things, are just that final little bit of branding to differentiate myself from most people. Don't have a doctorate, don't have a PhD. I do in my training business, not that many people. How can I stand out? How can I differentiate? How can I beat the competition? I'm thinking like that all the time, and I wish I'd put my face on more things. Now I put it on every damn thing I can put it out there. So, and I'm not handsome, I'm not like George Clooney, but I don't care. I don't have a great voice. I don't care. I listen to my own voice. I hate it. Most of us do. You hear your own voice on tape and say, oh, that sounds terrible. But I think to myself, well, Bob Dylan, I'm a big fan of Bob Dylan. Does that guy have a great voice? Sting, I'm a big fan. Does he have a great voice? Did any of the Beatles have a great voice? No. Frank Sinatra had a great voice. Pat Boone had a great voice. Dean Martin had a great voice. Those guys had great voices, But I don't worry about it. I put out what I've got and do the best I can with what I've got. And I think that's as much as I can do. Yeah, David.
How's been your experience? Are your clientele mainly Japanese or mainly Gaijin?
About half-half.
About half-half.
Half-half.
So Japanese, I think, can benefit from learning this internationally, right? Because to communicate internationally, right? But does it also behoove the Japanese to benefit from Dale Carnegie techniques in Japanese in Japan?
Absolutely. Now, you saw 4 personality styles up there before. David, have you ever met the owner of the company who's quite idiosyncratic, fired up, sort of bigger than life personality, Japanese shutshot? You meet them, right? Owner of the business, they're not in the company man, they're running their own thing. They are drivers. Yep. They're out there. Then you meet people in the different industries, marketing, could be in the entertainment area. They're out there too. Flamboyant, quite flamboyant, expressives. And then, but most of the Japanese that I meet in business, I would reckon they're probably analyticals or amiables. So my advice from before is same thing. If I meet Japanese are like that, I tone myself right down. Well, the Japanese language is a monotone anyway, right? Straight away. Once I start, Greg in English, Nihongo de no Greg wa zenzen shigaimasu. The voice, the tone, the energy, it just drops straight away because you're now in Japanese. So I suit them the way they want to be, dealt with, and I change my behavior so my energy comes down, my voice comes down. But I do meet Japanese who are flamboyant, who are aggressive driver types, and I can lift it up and be like them. But I've not found them to be even 25% of the people I meet. It seems to be a smaller group that I'm meeting because I'm trying to meet the decision makers, right? Yeah. But most people are fairly, I would say, passive, placid, calm, not expressive. Now, sitting around this table, that's one role. And when you have a conversation, you speak conversationally at a certain level of strength. But if you've got to come up here and give a presentation, different role. You've got to lift your energy. You've got to have presence. And it's no longer, I'm just a passive observer. You've got to lead the room. So your role is different. So we teach Japanese when they're in this role, this is the appropriate behavior for you to engage that audience and get your message across. And they can do it. But if it's a conversation, you're not going to be like that. But different role. Now, naturally, they're not going to do that because the societal structure is such, the culture is such that you don't stand out and you don't lift yourself up. But when you explain to them, hey, when you're the one leading the pitch, right, to get the business, if you're the one doing the industry talk, if you're the one explaining what's going on with the business to the team, to the organization, all hands meeting, whatever it might be, different role. Now you talk about haters. When I was at the Shinsei Bank, I had a division. I had my own division. And each of the retail bank division heads were giving reports to the whole bank, retail bank, on what each division was doing. And a guy before me, very technical, analytical, 3 decimal places sort of person, he gave his talk, extremely boring, terrible. Then it was my turn. So I go out there and I'm really nailing it. And I come off, and the contrast was vast between us. He didn't say to me directly, but I heard later, oh yeah, Greg's story, you know, that guy, all show, no basis. So what was actually said? He said, I'm all, I'm trying to think what he said now. It was like all front, no basis, or
All mouth, no trousers.
yeah, something like that. With some smarty pants put down.
Yeah.
When I heard that, I just laughed to myself because I'd seen his presentation. And I said, man, that guy's so clueless. He doesn't even know. He's got no idea, you know. So haters, you get them. And when you put yourself out there, yes, people are going to make a judgment. But the difference is, though, if you want to have presence, you want to be persuasive, this is the toolkit you need to be like that. Now, if I'd started this presentation today, I'd gone like this. I love sales. I'm a hunter. Nothing better than finding new clients and doing new deals. This is what really gets me going in the morning. Today, I'm going to talk about the basics of sales and put a little bit of different spin on it and talk about know, like, and trust. You lot would all be asleep within a very short order because I'm killing you. You know, I'm killing you by taking the energy down. Now, when you come into a room, your energy as a participant is already down. If it's a business meeting, the buyer side, their energy is down. They've come in the room, the energy is not high, it's down. Our job in sales or explaining anything is to lift the energy up. So you've got to have a different presence, a little bit stronger voice, a little bit show more confidence, not yelling at people, but that confidence is coming through the voice tone, the physical energy. Now, we have a thing in martial arts, we talk about the ki, chi in Chinese, ki in Japanese, like aikido, that ki. When I'm selling, when I'm presenting like now, when I'm teaching, I'm trying to project my ki energy, my intrinsic energy to you. And people will say to me after the talks, this is a small room, so I'm not going over the top hard, but if this was 50 people, 100 people, I'd be a lot more energetic because the space is bigger. So I match my energy to the space and the people, otherwise it's too overpowering. But people often say, wow, you're a very powerful presenter. Oh, that was very powerful. Oh, you have so much energy. Because I'm playing a role up here and I'm getting their energy up. I'm getting the buyer energy up to get them excited about what I'm talking about. I'm getting the participants in the room excited about my message, buy my message. That's not by accident. This is the role. When you're here, that's your role. So these are things to think about if you get a chance. And presentation skills, I mean, every single one of us on the planet should all go through a Dale Carnegie course on presentation skills because it's so fundamental for everything in life. And yet we don't get it. It's one of the most key things you can get. It makes such a difference. I'll tell you how it is. I was at a big German engineering firm, and it was a pilot demonstration class. And all engineers, I asked for a volunteer. Of course, nobody volunteered. So I said, oh, great, thanks for volunteering, come up here. And this engineer, and it was in Japanese, I said, what I'd like you to do, or what we're going to do, is just tell everyone your name, which section you work in the company, and basically what you do at work. That's it. So of course, my name is Greg Story. I'm the president of Dale Carnegie Training. I do training and teach people in business. Like that, I said, that's great, that's fantastic. Now, we're going to double that energy, double that volume of the voice. So he raised it like 5%. And I just kept on telling him, double it, double it, double it, 5%, 10%, 20%, 30%. It got to a point where he said, in his case, my name is Kenichi Omada, and I'm in number 3 engineering department, and I'm mainly working on blah, 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 like that. And I said to the audience, right, which guy do you like? The first guy? Oh, my name is, Yamato. Or the second guy? Oh, we like the second guy. Confident, appealing. All I did was ask him to raise the tone of his voice. Nothing about gestures, posture, breathing, none of that. Just raise the tone of your voice because it's going to come across as much more confident. Not too loud, but enough to feel people feel confident. So these are such a simple thing, right? Instant change. Who has the next question? How are we going on time there? Eric? Who has the next question? Yeah, please, Marissa. Marissa's question is, when I'm dealing with Japanese buyers, what's a key question I ask? Well, Eric, you and me and everyone else in this room knows that in the West, the buyer is king. But in Japan, the buyer is God. So how can pesky salespeople be questioning God? That's not allowed. That's why Japanese salespeople don't ask God any questions. They go straight into the pitch, but the detail, the spec, weight, colour, size, They go straight into it. Don't ask any questions of the buyer. How the hell do you know what they want if you don't ask any questions? So the key question for Japanese buyers is, Marissa, we have a very big range of solutions, and I know you're a very busy person. So what I'm thinking is, if you could give me a little bit of a hint on what would make the most difference to your company, I will take that big range and I'll shrink it down to only the things which will be of the most value to you, saving you a lot of time, because I know you're busy. Would you mind if I ask you a few questions? Would you mind if I ask you a few questions? Would you mind if I ask you a few questions? Is the critical question in sales in Japan with Japanese buyers, because they've all been trained to get pitches. The trouble with the pitches, what's your favourite colour, Marissa? What's your favourite colour? Pink, right? I don't know that. Because I didn't ask any questions. Marissa, let me tell you about our range in blue. Oh, vast range, beautiful. A blue to behold. Blue, blue, blue. She's thinking pink, pink, pink. This is the problem with sales in Japan. If I don't know what you want, how on earth do I know what to present to you? So I talk about it in my book. Today was let me have another glass of water here. Today was a classic. I have, it's funny. The chairs on my side were really low and the chairs on their side were quite high. It was like, ooh, what are we going on here? Anyway, I'm sitting here. On the chair, they can't see it, I have a big folder full of flyers and stuff they can't see because I don't know what to show them. They can't see it, so it doesn't distract them. So I ask them questions. Now, this is a foreigner, so I can just ask him. If you help me with the solutions you're looking for, I'll shrink down to what we've got. If it was a Japanese person, I'd say that exact same thing. And after I've asked them questions, then I know what is the right solution for them, and I will only show them the flyers or information on that and nothing else. So it's highly tailored. But if I don't know, as you know, when I was in Shinsei Bank, the salespeople, because they were salespeople selling to rich people with financial products, would you like this? No? Oh, okay. How about this one? No? How about this one? No? Like that. Had to teach them, don't do it like that. Find out what their financial goals are, find out what their timeline is, find out their situation, and only then do you decide which financial product is the right match, and maybe none of them are a right match, in which case you don't sell them anything, because you're looking for a lifetime partnership here of value and trust. So this was the issue around the right question you've got to ask them is, can I get your permission to ask questions, and then you can find out what they need, and then you can supply if you have the solution. And if your kokoro gamae is correct, and you don't have the right solution, you say, I'm sorry, we don't have what you need. Let me see if I can find someone else who's got it, but we don't have it. And you don't waste any more of their time or your time, and you go and find someone who has got the need, and you give them the time and the effort to find a solution for them, rather than trying to slam the square peg into the round hole here, you know. That's stupid. That's a transactional idea. Don't do that, is my thinking, my philosophy of that. Know, like, and trust never changes, never goes out of fashion. However, the ability to use the technology to have a meeting online with someone exists today. It didn't exist before COVID. So now, the whole country potentially can be your territory. Before, maybe it was only people in Tokyo. But now you can connect with anyone, anywhere, and you can have a meeting on Zoom, and they agree to it, whereas before they'd never agree to it. Me, go on camera. Remember the beginning of COVID? No one's on camera. No one's on camera. At the end, everyone's on camera. They got used to it. So that's the big difference, I think. Know, like, and trust hasn't changed. Cold calling hasn't changed. Still as difficult as ever was. The lack of networking, big change. Now you've got lots of networking. And I said to you at the beginning, we should be going for it as hard as we can. I try and fill well, I'm not as good as David. He's a legend. How many this week? How many networking events this week for you?
I'm so glad Corona is finished. I don't know how I survived it, right? But yeah.
This week, though, this week I was 3 with you, so you were more than that. 10 this week. 10 networking events, right?
End of the year, right?
But that's where you should be. If I could do 10 a week, I'd be doing 10 a week. If I could, physically do it, because meet people, find out what they need, and then, help them. So, an example, a metaphor I like to use is, if you had the cure for cancer, would you keep it a secret? No. We've probably all had family members pass away, and both my parents died of lung cancer. Plenty of people dying from cancer. If you had the cure for cancer, you'd want to share it with everybody, right? Same thing. Companies have a variation of a type of corporate culture, something wrong in their company. They need help. We as salespeople, we have a duty to help them cure that problem. We have solutions to help them fix their issues. We have a duty. If you have a duty, you'll go on video, go on podcast, write articles, appear in social media, go to networking events, and get out there and find as many people as you possibly can and help them with your cure for their corporate company cancer. That's how I like to think of it. We don't know what it is until we ask them questions, Marissa, and we ask them questions, we find out, oh, you have that issue. I have a cure for that, or I don't have a cure for that. If I got a cure for it, we're going to keep talking. I don't have a cure for that, I tell you. I don't waste their time. That comes back to the kokoro gamae, of being true intention, of serving the client's interests before your own interests. If that is your true direction, your true north, you're going to have a terrific brand in the marketplace. People will say, honest. Now, I had shocking social media post came up. 2 people I knew. It was from a woman. She's got her own company. Has anybody seen Mr. X? I knew Mr. X too. He owes me money. That was the LinkedIn post. Think about that. As it turned out, we were having conversations with Mr. X about a collaboration. I get the email. I go on to search engine. Whoa, what a Pandora's box of bad toxic trouble that revealed. It was incredible. I didn't know. I said, well, stop that collaboration immediately. But how easy is it to kill someone's reputation with a post like that? Where's Mr. X? He owes me money. So we've got to be very honest, because social media is so quick, so deadly. Now we're going into the era of fake everything, right? That's going to be a big problem. Fake videos, fake voice, your voice saying terrible things. But I think the blockchain will fix that. So today, I'm just posting straight out of the platform, but in the future, it won't be that far away, I will put it up onto the blockchain as my content, and then I'll post it. And then people can double check if that's me or not, right? Unfortunately, deep fakes, it's going to hit all of us. And you know, your competitors make a deep fake video of you shown in a very bad light. Dirty deeds done dirt cheap, right? That'll happen. That'll happen. So we've got to, but there'll be a way around. The blockchain will solve that problem. But for all of us, it's going to be very, very hard. Very, very hard to gauge what's reality in the future with all of this stuff than what's going on today. So thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining the Sales Japan series. If you found the program useful, then please work on your karma and share this with your family, friends, and colleagues. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast. Immediately apply what you've learned. Go out there and survive. Use it and make some serious money. Bucks, dough, ruler, coin, dosh, lolly, readies, smackers, earners, and bread and honey. Remember, I'm in your corner, your go-to guy for soft skills training in Tokyo, committed to your success here in Nippon.